my screen, my camera. Okay. So we are at a juncture where digital evolution is more making impact than ever. Namaste. So I'll quickly run through about Kritibim, my startup, and most of the time I'm spending at Kritibim. Okay, it was founded in year 2015 and a legal entity in 2018. It's a high-tech startup focusing on high-tech research. Okay, it's more of a research-based startup. Okay, the founders are from top premier institutions in India. So we intend to play a critical role in crafting the future of advanced engineering systems, leveraging on our engineering systems. So this is our extended ecosystem we have. So we also have something called as consortium of technology startups, where various startups, technology startups, comes to us and asks for being onboarded within the ecosystem. Okay, these are the two currently incubated or imbibed consortium. That is Visisthaman, which is working on the advanced driver assistance systems, and Tattwai is a medical 3D system, all women startup. So we have these many university collaborations and also a program exclusively called Timber for engineering students. So these are the domains in which we work. Vastly, we work on automotive, Internet of Things, wearable technologies, energy and sustainability, encompassing the whole of the gamut of engineering and multidisciplinary actions. So I'd like to quickly start with this small video, which will give you an idea about what are we talking about, what is industry, what are the industrial evolution, and where are we, at what junction we are. I felt this video is nicely curated and very well communicates what needs to be said. So we are all very much now clear about one distinctive difference that the industry 4.0 brings in, is that you have the spatial separation of the people involved in doing and the machines and the equipments. Until industry 3, we had humans working along with the robots and machines in a workspace or a work cell. With the advent of industry 4.0, or the popularly known as industrial IoT, we are being able to disconnect these two entities, that is the physical human and the physical equipments, the workspace. We can be sitting miles apart and things make things still work. I think now for a situation such as the pandemic that we are going through, this may make all the more sense if you've already onboarded the industry 4.0. Okay, so why industry 4.0? Because it helped in making a lot of decisions which were previously done on a very long time span, but this became a very precise, to the last minute information and data collection, and this made it more flexible. It was faster to do the necessary actions or the functions. It became more efficient. Okay, then with higher quality. You are able to produce higher quality and reduce defects. And obviously, when you have the numbers playing into picture and more produced in an hour and less of human intervention, the necessary time, space, and effort required reduces, and thereby the cost also reduces. Okay, so with these as the most driving factors for Industry 4.0, it took shape and it's beginning to shape up. Let me caution you that there are very few industries world over that have completely adapted or migrated to Industry 4.0, barring a few companies, and even in those few companies, only select plants work on 100% IIoT. That's like zero human intervention. So this manufacturing revolution increase the productivity, shifts the economy. So you see now people have started to consume more and also have variation in our requirements. Okay, so this fostered the industrial growth to modify the work profile of the people. So what people were few years back, you cannot continue to say in work or in workforce with the same skill sets. So probably a few years back, we had people who are physically pick and place or a physical assembly of the system or parts. For them, they need to upskill. They need to start upskilling. That's when they can stay relevant. There's a lot of debate and a lot of people arguing that Industry 4.0 or automation is actually taking away jobs of human beings. On the contra, it makes us more efficient, more effective, and gives us an opportunity to upskill. If you choose to say that no, I'm not going to learn, I'm going to continue to do the same thing, then I think we are not doing the right things. Okay, like if you see the previous slide which spoke about reduced cost, higher quality, more efficient. This is always able to happen when you're able to, when you do a repetitive work, ruts starts to set in and you start to deviate from your optimal operations. So this is the changing competitiveness of the companies and region. So everyone is now trying to adapt to Industry 4.0 because that is when they can stay relevant and it can cater to a vast majority of the market. So Industry 4.0 vastly. Okay, I'm just trying to be very brief and cover most of the components or technologies that contribute into Industry 4.0. It is one is autonomous robots, simulation. I think various companies across mechanical or automation or engineering industries have already started to take on simulation. So this is a step. It's a step-by-step integration. So simulation is mandatory. Okay, that is where you have the digital twin, and that's where you get into becoming getting designs which are very precise. First, do right first time is is possible. Then system integration. This is where you have a digital system and a physical system. Okay, both of them are being simulated, both try to replicate each other, and because of this I'm able to even predict downtimes and any intermittent or imminent breakdowns. Okay, so Internet of Things is one of a key component for Industry 4.0, which is going to be the sensory organ for the system called Industry 4.0. It's going to be able to collect the necessary information that is of importance to me and relay into my system. Okay, so Internet of Things is also one of the building blocks. Cybersecurity, we are as much as it is required and necessary for our personal space, it is all the more necessary for Industry 4.0 so that people do not overtake or inject faulty and corrupt softwares or take the whole plant into uh, control. So there's also a lot of cloud computing happening that if you see from the autonomous driving cars to AGVs, automated guided vehicles, everything, because there's a huge amount of computing required, which can be pushed to the cloud with the help of internet and availability of internet in vast. Then additive manufacturing, which is popularly known as the 3D systems. Today, if you know the number of new variants of cars, mobiles, two-wheelers, or anything consumer products, the life cycle and the time between one product release to another product is getting shorter thanks to additive manufacturing, which helps us quickly validate our design and bring in a quick prototype or a proof of concept and also be tried on. And in many cases, this additive manufacturing is producing end products. Very popular ones are your shoes. Nike shoe is able to produce a shoe uh, customized to your foot curves. Each of us have a different curvature on our foot. Okay, so it takes your foot curve and produces exactly to that and the color combination that you want. Okay, so thanks to digital technologies and additive manufacturing. Then you have augmented reality, which is currently seen as a huge game changer in the gaming industry. But in industry 4.0, it's becoming necessary for quality assurance, then training, and any new product that has to be done. I do not have to spend a lot of time in training. Using the augmented AR VR, people are immediately enabled to start working on the system because they have a physical and virtual interface. It instructs the people who assemble how to service the equipments or the machineries using the augmented reality. And to all of this, there's a huge amount of data produced and consumed, and there's the popular term called big data, which gives you a lot of insight. And like some have rightfully said in the industry, that the future currency of the mankind, or the currency of the economy, is data. So we have this convenient way of interchanging these two terms, automation and robotics. So how I would like to classify is robotics is a subsystem of automation. And if you say robotics, it doesn't mean automation. Okay, so let's get these two things very clearly understood and distinguished and differentiated. So today, robotics is as what was internet 20 years ago. So it doesn't mean that for robotics to come into what like internet is today, it will going to take 20 years, because you understand, as technologies are scaling up, they are speeding up, they are going in a rapid and accelerated fashion. For all that we may know, this 20 years maybe shortened to probably 5 years. Okay, so it's just a matter of how people are deeming opportunistic, and how disruptive technologies are taking shape. This is specifically for people who are interested in robotics and how the evolution and happened. I will run through quickly, but what I would like to point out is in the year 1950 to 1951, the Turing test. Probably you should look at this. This was the most crucial year and the crucial activity which brought in what is the genesis. It's the genesis of our today's AI. Okay, when we say artificial intelligence or automation and mission empathy, this was the first point, or the place the thought about having intelligence embedded into a mission was thought about. Okay, so probably you would be interested in dwelling upon on Turing test. Okay, it's called Turing test. You could just have a look at. Alan Turing was the one who performed this to try and emulate some emotions, how a mission would feel with its surrounding and the material it passes by. So this is a quick. This may not be of much importance until 2000, almost 2000. There were all robots which were like only industry grade, didn't look like the ones which have been shown on movies, like humanoid nature, until 2000. Then after that, it started. Every industry and every big company started to invest in it, and IBM invested in something called as IBM Watson, which is an AI machine. Okay, so this also gave way into our robotic automation process, or this becomes the core of your brain of the robots. Okay, robotics has mechanism, mechatronics, interfacing, and a lot amount of computing is done on an onboard controller. With the advent of IBM Watson, okay, what happens, this computing and knowledge and skill of a computer can be linked up to these AI cloud based systems, which can perform huge amount of task, great amount of data crunching and processing. Okay, so in 2010, with the we had also started to see 3D vision of streets. Your maps started to show you 3D vision. So this also started to this was an again enabler for us to say, I can start converting them to digital world and machine to start interpreting these digital world. Okay, that's where the autonomous driving got a huge flip. Okay, sorry. So in the age of innovation, okay, what is this age of innovation which is driving digital transformation? So we had age of records, which purely in the year 1990s to 2010, we did everything just to keep a record of what we are doing, and the focus was on supply chain. The product was in the core center and it was the king. We needed to ensure that the product, we had the batch size, we were able to try and resolve it through that. Then from 2000 to 2020, okay, the year that we are up till now, it became the era of empathy. So though it became customer centric, so today everything that is happening is all customer centric. You see mobile apps to phone, everything, it has to be, there's a huge emphasis given on UI, which is huge user interface, and UX, which is user experience. Okay, so this is becoming the order of the day. So we are all in the era where the customer is the king. So parallelly, around in 2010, data started making sense. So today I'm able to predict my customers needs and requirements. It's an age of intelligence where you start to collect these data, apply algorithms, complex algorithms, to start getting inferences out of this data, and this is where a huge amount of data scientists are working. Okay, so now moving forward from here, 2020 to 2040 is an age of autonomy. So I mean, this was done probably in the year 2017, this particular block by us. So somehow our research and things were probably, we don't know if it's prediction, but we didn't see a pandemic such as COVID coming. But the year 2020 onwards was an age of autonomy. So we wanted to do things independent of human intervention. See, today we have people coming and delivering us food and groceries and other things, because we are not able to go into the shops or stores or whatever. Okay, so ideally it should have been some drones or some robots or automated vehicles that would be doing this. In some of the places, I think Amazon is exploring this in a few European nations. Okay, drone deliveries. Okay, so this is how the digital transformation is shaping. So if we need to be stay relevant, or we need to start looking up at things, these are the eras, or these are the domains and areas in which we should probably look at. Okay, so like I said, what is driving digital era? Customer driven. It's going to be profit. All data is going to generate profit. So everybody today is working on profits. A classical example all of us know is that of Google, that of what's this guy, Facebook. None of us subscribe to Google or to Facebook, but they are the top growing companies who are clocking in huge amount of profits year on year. So it's all that they're doing is they are catapulting, or we're capitalizing on the data that's being collected. Okay, so new product and services that are going to be required, we are getting bored of I know our what do you call, capitalistic mind is high. So we are looking at new things. There were times that when somebody bought something, it lasted few at least a decade. Today if you see, we are compelled to change a mobile phone, if not every 2 years, I mean if not every year, at least once in 2 years, because the technology or everything seems to be obsolete and we want to upgrade. Okay, so that is how the new products and services are becoming in the digital era. Agile models. Okay, so today you see everything is so quick. People who are in the software industry may appreciate this. This is also getting into hardware as well as into mechanical stream. So personalization and micro segmentation, like I was telling you, I can order uh, any 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 dress, shoe, or any component customized to myself. Tomorrow I can there may come a day where I may order a mobile phone to fit my hand with my own likings. Okay, this was also experimented by Google sometime back, where you, these were all modular. You could build your own mobile based on your choice, and it will cost you appropriately. And also talking about shoes, like I gave you the example of a shoe that can fit your leg. So everything you can modify. You want a pink, orange, whatever color you want, the sole, everything can be personalized. Okay, and new products and services. Swiggies and all the Swiggies and Zomatos and Flipkarts are all based on digital era. That is what is also driving them. So the key driving factors for the business in digital technologies is to start with the technology innovation. Okay, so the technology that have been making huge drastic leaps and bounds, and the disruptive technologies that are being produced enables to come up with new models. Okay, and parallelly, if you see, even market demand today, there's a huge market demand. The people who are living in an urban setting is, the density change is huge. So there are more number of people staying in the urban than in the rural setup. So thereby also there's a shift in democratic setup and their awareness and the adaptation of technology. Okay, so customer and consumer behavior is nicely captured using digital technology. So how many of us are today buying things based on an advertisement put on hoardings? We don't anymore, right? So you're getting customized what do you call, ads coming into your digital social media. So you must be wondering, why am I getting these advertisements on my Gmail, or when I'm browsing my Instagram or Facebook? You're getting all customized content. Okay, what you may see others are not seeing, because they have seen your preferences, they are monitoring your behavior, your consuming behavior, and they are only
Hello? Hello?
Uh, could somebody tell me what was the last slide that was visible to you? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what was the last slide you saw, Prajwal? Can someone tell me what was the last slide you saw so that I'll start from there? I understand that we lost connection. Okay, maybe I'll share and let me know if you could, just a minute. Was it talking about the digital spread?
Yes, sir. You're talking about Flipkart and how they utilize the opportunity to go ahead.
Okay. So I think Flipkart and okay. So I will start sharing that. Okay, okay. So I suppose this was the slide.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was what about how data. Oh, I think okay. Yes, I think you missed all the new products and everything. Okay. So if you okay, I'll have to keep a check on this as well then. Okay. Okay. Um, where am I? Okay, so there was a huge amount of data being used. I mean, data became the point of revenue generation for a lot of companies, and that's why it became a thing. New products and services stemming from, such as we are looking at how quickly we want to consume things. Our interest in products are so quick, the number of new products that are being launched, be it vehicles, mobile phones, or consumer electronics, any of these things is all enabled because of digital era. They're driving. So agile and business model also is this, if you see, is trying to integrate. It makes helps people to work in parallel. Okay, agile is all about working in parallel and integrating them together. This is more of relevant, so far has been relevant in software industry, taking space into even industry and mechanical engineering as well. And also, if you see, even various constructions are doing offsite. That's like precast things. They are also sort of an agile model. Okay, if you're looking at constructions, then personalization is like I was talking to you about. You could have what things, your products suiting to your personal micro segmentation. So even I can choose or make things to my own preferences. It's not about a segment. It's a segment is micro. An individual is a market segment for me. Okay, that is also being driven by driving digital era. And business models like Swiggy's, Flipkart's, then all of these e-commerce is all banking on the digital era. Okay, so like you said, these are the various key driving factors in the digital technologies. They drive the digital technologies, market demand, technology, consumer behaviors. Like I was telling you, you do not get any, you do not make decisions of buying something looking at some holdings on the road or anything, right? So or even advertisements on the TV. So if you're, most of us are spending our time on the digital platform like Instagram or social media like what's it, Facebooks and the likes of it. Okay, and all of them, you see that you get curated and customized advertisements. You have ads that are coming which are of your preferences. What ad you may get is not what your parents or any of your peers may get, because it's monitoring you. It is observing your behavior, your buying behaviors, your preferences, and it's curating and offering you things that are of importance to you or relevance to you. Okay, this is what is one of the key factors that's driving for business, right? So I did not have to go hunting, and I'll give you a precise things for the precise customer. Okay, so increased speed to market, like I told you, thanks to technologies like simulations and 3D printing and AR VR, which is aiding in making things faster. We are also aware of the impact of the environment. We are becoming more conscious about it. So digital technologies, if not much, it is at least able to keep a tab on how or what of it is impacting and how to reduce its impact by capturing data. Profitability, obviously, all business are looking for profitability. There's a huge increase in profitability when you adapt into digital technologies. And at the end of the day, the customer is always satisfied. So this is an interesting slide or a chart that I keep referring to, because if you see the slant, very slow grading slope, a straight line slope starting at say around 70 onwards, percentage of population adaptation. This is about adaptation over the years. Okay, from 1990 to 2015, improved sanitation and water. Okay, now you see how slope it was, and you can see a steep, almost near exponential curve approaching for mobile phone adaptation, right? So it shows how digital technologies are invading or spreading into our lives. Okay, parallelly you can see closely following, they started late but they're picking up faster and catching up, is the internet and broadband. Even our secondary school education doesn't seems to be making heaps and bounds. They're also more or less following the same slope as the improved water and electricity. So what is the internet of things driving in manufacturing? They are impacting manufacturing, utilities, retail, and automotive, and other industries, including healthcare, transportation, and government sectors. Manufacturing, I mean, this may be of a much closer drive for us as mechanical engineers. We see that today all of our devices are communicating and are giving information which in the past we never had. So even in industries today, they want to have, I don't know if you have heard of just GIT, just in time process. So Internet of Things enables JIT in a phenomenal way. So there's no hardware require. I mean, what do you call storewares required to store them. Okay, warehousing is near to zero. So both the raw material and the finished goods, because both are got in as and when they are required, and they are produced and being pushed to the market immediately. There's no intermediate warehousing of raw or finished products. Okay, so I was talking about big data and IoT. Okay, so all companies, all the big fours. I don't know if you know the big fours. These are the companies which are the consulting companies are milking on big data and IoT by creating dashboards. This is going to give me a phenomenal amount of information about how I'm performing, where are my loopholes, how am I going to make new products, and existing with existing data. Can I change a lot of my parameters in the product so that they become more realistic? Okay, they are going to be real time. When I say real time, data was used for ages. Okay, today data validity minutes, but data validity and thing is on seconds. You'll appreciate that by looking at how Uber and Ola are making use of this data, which is linked up to the Google until few years back it was the oil, which was the currency. Economic currency was oil, and today it's going to be the data. So looking at IoT security and protection, these are the areas where we have huge amount of opportunity. There is still a lot amount of work is required in the IoT security and protection. Okay, so I don't know if you are aware of a movie, Fast and Furious, in which there is one, I don't know which sequence or sequel was it, wherein the person shoots a device which piggy banks onto the car and the guy loses control of the car. Okay, so you can control the because today's cars are all ECU controlled. They're not, you all know that it is not mechanical or mechanisms alone. They're being driven and controlled by engine control units. A lot and lot of 70 to 75% of your car is now electronics, right? So things, incidences such as that can happen. Okay, it might be looking like a thing, an act or a fictitious a work of friction, but they are possible. There are cases where people have been held hostage in their own house, which is completely automated. You can't get in or get out. Somebody else has hacked into your system, into your home automation system, and he's literally controlling what you do, including turning on lights, water, electricity, everything. Okay, that level of automation can you also be a challenge. So you need to have huge amount of security and protection into place. So this is a popular belief, like I was telling. The rise of robots in organization has resulted in two schools of thought. The one saying that robots will replace humans. The other, robots will help humans perform better. Okay, so I come from the school of thought where we say that it will help us do things better, because being humans, unless otherwise we are giving into our comforts too much, I don't have to think I'll have to worry about the second clause, which is about they will replace humans, right? So the world has reached a tipping point where robots and humans are set to thrive in a symbiotic. We will work hand in hand in tandem, in a partnership, right? It's time to start thinking, can a bot do a task for me now? So I just watched this video. If you thought that tailors are going to be necessary even for some more time, the future of tailors is this. So that's the future of tailors. So these people are also going to be affected by the digital technologies. So looking at what are the three popular trends that are going to trends and technologies that's going to rule the digital space, it would be that of AI. Okay, this is coming from hype, the Gartner's report. Okay, the hype cycle. AI everywhere. So AI is going to make a huge impact. Transparency and immersive experience. Everything is going to be visible. Why and what of it. So if you're talking about bitcoins, I don't know if you know the importance of a Bitcoin technology. It's going to give traceability and transparency of every transaction. Okay, so that is also being one of the that comes under transparency and immersive experience and digital platforms. Everything that we're going to do now is going to be on digital space. Now how many of you are visiting a doctor? If you're going to go to visit a doctor physically, it's not going to be possible. They're going to ask you for a COVID test report. So a startup called Procto is making use of this. So they link you to a doctor. They get you an appointment. Previously, they were doing it in physical. Now you get a. They have upgraded their system where you have a video consultation, and you have technologies and sensors that will monitor your vital, basic vital parameters, with which the doctor is able to. He gets a report, and he is able to even uh, make an inference, of your reports and suggest you some corrections. Okay, so everything is moving towards digital, and sooner or later we are all there. Okay, so the four big enablers of robotic revolution or robot evolution is industry 4.0. It's becoming more necessary, where we'll be having a lot of systems in place, a knowledge economy. Okay, so when there is a build of a knowledge economy, a huge amount of knowledge is being tacit knowledge, and very obvious knowledge is being captured and documented. So there is no need for a person, new person, I mean anybody, to come and take time to learn it. So this becomes an innate nature of any robot. So all I have to just flash it and it starts acting as if it has that many years of experience, right? And Internet of Things, everything now has a capability to be connected and start communicating and act according to it. Okay, and the last one is communication and ethics. I would say it is an enabler, as well as it's a thing that we need to keep a check and check on. I will show you why and how. So this is one of the report which was claiming robots can be used in various of these things. They may be used for harmful purposes. Okay, so the whole idea is, as conscious human beings, we have to ensure, this is where we're talking about ethics, what we use them for and enable them for. Okay, so there was even talking about job jolt, where we say use robots and let people go home, so I don't have to pay them anymore, and all that. This may not happen for very obvious equations that are existing. Okay, but certainly we will be deploying robots in hazardous place where need today. In Hiroshima, when there was this tsunami that hit, and in Japan when that nuclear power plant meltdown happened, few of the scientists and people who are in the nuclear power plant had to stay there, and they had to to contain the radiation and meltdown of the thing, and they lost their lives. In such situations, robots and hazardous places, robots are going to make a huge impact. They'll do what we have to do in a precise way, an interactive way, with without any loss of human life. So a popular thing, they took our jobs. So if you see, since the inception, then we see that until maybe to 2025, year 2025, in the automotive sector, there will be close to 13 million job loss to robots. Okay, in manufacturing sector, 22 million jobs, and in food and service, 9 million jobs. Understand, food and services as well. When I say food and services, it includes packed canned foods, service, these various food servicing thing, hotels. I don't know, in Japan, in some of the places, there are no service, tenders. Whatever you order on the kiosk, you have to, it'll allot you a table. You have to sit there. It'll prepare. There is a kitchen. Even there is a cook, robotic cook, which can cook with precise same taste, same thing, and it will be get served to you over a rail. I think you've seen these videos, right? Okay, I'll just pause at this point because I don't want to look very monotonous. And let me know if any of you have any questions or you would like to ask or add to the conversation. Any questions?
Oh, yes, I have a question here.
Would you just give your name so that I can address you as well?
My name is Vivian, sir.
Vivian Varun. Yeah, tell me.
So, like you said, Industry 4.0 is something which is an advancement or a look into the future. So, let's say that for any market,
Right?
sustainability of any product that you use through this, sustainability is very important. So, what is the factor that comes across when you talk about sustainability in Industry 4.0? And also, what is the case
Okay.
that something better comes in that scenario, sir?
Okay. See, when you say sustainability, there are two school of thought: sustainability of a product or sustainability with reference to resource and environment. Okay, they come under the sustainable goals. Okay, so digital technologies are also enabling sustainable goals. Okay, thereby I know the life cycle. When I say life cycle, I don't know. There's a concept called cradle to grave. Okay, so your product must be able to be traced from cradle to grave. And when you say grave, what is it that I'm going to, what impact it has on the environment and its implications, and how I'm trying to recover. So this is being properly monitored, and data is giving insights. That's digital. So when you're talking about sustainability, sustainable, whether the technology or whether the industry is going to be sustainable, tell me, wouldn't it be possible, and I don't know if you've been in an entrepreneurial setup, would it not be possible that you're not going to count on some human intervention? The variations are humongous. Let's say I have a repetitive job to be done, and its variations are going to be great if I have people. Let's say in the start of the day, the attention span of the worker or the laborer or the assembler, whoever is there, who's on the job floor, is going to be high attention span and his energy level. As the day progresses, his productivity decreases. I'm not just worried about the progress of the productivity. I'm also worried about the quality of work that you may do. So now tell me, with this sort of a thing, do you think I'll have a sustainable outcome?
No, sir.
Okay, I may be selling 100 parts. Of the 100 parts, in a day I will produce 100 parts. The first 10 or 20 of them are good. The remaining 80 are deteriorating in over time. So would you say this is a sustainable outcome?
No, sir.
So the reason people adapt or wanting to onboard digital transformation or robotic or automation is that they want to stay relevant and sustain. They want to sustain what they are doing. And when you say a product sustenance, I would say that today nobody wants product sustenance, because we are all driven by consumerism. uh, None of us have a bike which is more than 4 years, 5 years. None of us are going to have a car which is more than 5 years. Mobile phones, immediately after 1 year, all youngsters are wanting to change to the latest technology or latest phone. Is that not true, Vivin?
Yes, sir. Very true.
So even the product development itself, they're consciously taking this into account, and they're not going to look at something that a device or a thing can last forever. So they also don't over engineer things that have a longevity. So they know people's want is that they want it forever, but they will never use it forever. Their life utility point of view, it may only last for 2 to 4 years, depending on 2 to 4 years, based on various cost. Basically, it also cost. Car, I don't think we'll change every 2 years. Probably every 6 years, sixth or seventh year, we want to change. Okay, so those are the sort of thing that comes into play. So any other questions? Else we'll go back to the slide. I have few more points that I wanted to cover. Any questions or clarifications? If none, I will get back to the slide. Okay. Okay. Hope you're able to see my slides. So the problems of the future caused by this. Yeah. Is it visible?
No, sir. Your camera is still on, but then we can't see the slides.
Okay. I have to stop
Present.
and present. Yeah, I stopped presenting. Okay, now I'll present. Challenges of technology adaptation. You need to quickly be doing that as well. Okay, is visible?
Yes, sir. Now you're. I think we
Okay.
got the message.
Okay, right. Okay, so problems of the future caused by disruptive technology is that you need for better quality of communication. Okay, you need to be very clear, because machines cannot interpret ambiguity. They have to be very precise and to the point. If you're leaving it to the ability of the machine's interpretation, we're going to have a lot of challenges. Okay, so we are yet to reach there. Communication is something that needs to happen. Another bigger challenge is would be the humans would have to teach the robots how to communicate like humans. Okay, when you're going to adapt robots into our space, because it needs to be able to have communication skills. When I say communication skills, the wordings have such a subtle difference. Okay, it may sound a same word may sound rude in a different connotation. So these sort of things are something that a huge amount of research and work is being done, and it's a challenge, because it may also be dependent on your location, dialect. What may sound rude in one region, in Uttar Karnataka, in Karnataka, in the northern part of Karnataka, the way they speak, and the south in Mangalore side, the same thing we may communicate it in a different way, and it may sound rude to some, and for some it looks very obvious, right? So these are things that the robot must be able to differentiate and understand and adapt. Okay, this is a long way to go there. So, like I spoke about miscommunication in human robot interactions, this can bring in a lot of, like, sometime back, there was this voice activated guidance, I mean missile launch or firing systems enabled on an aircraft, fighter aircrafts. Okay, so when a person, when the pilot shifts his head, the turret which holds the gun moves, and he had to say shoot to fire, because it was found that the responses, motory responses in the hand and to vocal are far superior. So the moment he catches the glance of the target, all he has to say is a command shoot. So the subtle difference between a shoot and shit made a huge impact. So every time there was a, these sort of explicits are spoken in these places. Okay, they get frustrated, they use these sort of explicits like shit and all. So when they say shit, it started firing. So it was an unwarranted thing. I'm just giving you an incidence where it should be able to contextualize. It should know what is it it's trying to say, who and what. Okay, so these sort of things are huge pending challenges for communication between human and machine. Okay, so these are few skills that you will need to probably learn to stay relevant. I thought this would be useful for you. So you see how the whole market is shifting towards data and digital worlds. Okay, you're seeing data mining, the second most sought after. Statistical methods and data mining become the most sought after skills, and cloud computing abilities to build in cloud. When you say cloud computing, algorithms that can enable huge amount of data crunching and things like that, right? So moral and ethical challenges that I was talking about is like, will robots question our moral judgments? So there will be a uniform or a universal law for all these robots. What may look acceptable in one region may not be acceptable. So morality is subjective, or is it going to be uniform? So this may have a huge conflict in the way we interact with these sort of systems, right? So is it ethical? Is a question again, like asking, will human beings be out of job? So it's our own decision. I don't know if you've heard of this. I mean, I've seen this movie, Planet of Apes or something, where apes take over human beings. In the same fashion, the various sequels and movies which say like robots taking over, humanoids taking over humans and things like that. If we are making conscious decisions and we know where to use them and not hand over our lives to them, I think it's just a matter of choice. We human beings who are enabled with a lot of capabilities to think and decision making, it is for us to make the right decision. Otherwise, use them for the right sort of jobs where our lives become easier and repetitive works need not be done. So our productivity and skills are going to increase. Communication, I did less. I mean, I'm more emphasizing on communication because this is a huge amount of challenge. This is an area where a lot of people are working. Okay, so social also, the robots start becoming social. Just imagine how one robot communicates to other, thereby learning starts happening. In fact, I don't know if you know, one of the robots or a bot opened up a Facebook account. I don't know if you've heard of that article. Eventually, they figured it out, and it started to communicate with other bots. They started becoming like humans. You know what's a bot? That resides on your computers, right? Chat bots like that. They started creating Facebook account, and they started communicating. They started bringing their own language and communicating to each other. It was fortunately identified by Facebook, and they completely cut it off. And so imagine, are you a robot that can fake now? The machine can start saying, I'm not a robot, I'm a human being. So they are becoming smarter, so we got to be a little more conscious about it. Okay. So where three kinds of robots would be there. The ones robots. So their objective is a karma. So you're shifting your karma to the robot. They'll become karma yogis. Okay. So those who talk, these are interactive robots. Moving forward, your phone could be a smart robot. Okay. It'll start giving you company. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this talking Tom, whatever these apps, right, where the kids enjoy a lot. So it starts reproducing your same voice in an different tone. But just imagine, if it starts contextualizing your conversation, it becomes a bot, right? So those are talking interactive robots. Those who do both, that like humans and robots work together. Okay, these are the various combinations that we might have. So I would like to quickly introduce you to RPA, which is a robotic process automation, which all your bots and many of us are aspiring to join a lot of these software industries, where a huge amount of work, close to 80 to 85% of the workforce, is on the testing side, testing of softwares and these sort of things. Okay, all of these things are going to be replaced by an RPA, automation, testing automation systems. These are all a part of RPA, which comes under an RPA. Okay, so Accenture says that it reduces cost by 80%, reduces time by 80 to 90% using RPA. McKinsey, it says its return on investment is to 30 to 200%. Just imagine. Talking about sustainability, talking about profitability, nothing beats this. PricewaterhouseCoopers says that 40% of the work activities can be automated. So I was talking about 85% of the people who are in the the testing profession, they all fall under this 45%. Okay, this would save $2 trillion. It's a huge amount of workforce cost for an industry or for a business. Savings or making profit is very important, right? Because they are accountable to their stakeholders, right? So there are okay, I'll just, because for lack of time and thing, I'll tell you what are the benefits of adapting. Overall cost reduction, speed can increase, accuracy and compliance, scalability and flexibility, and removal of non-value or process. Okay, so this RPA itself evaluates certain things which are redundant, and it flushes out. We as human beings will systematically follow because it's a process given to us, but an RPA knows where are the redundant and non-efficient processes, and they flush it out. Okay, this is how it's going to aid. The first RPA was an ERP, e-commerce, then self-check-ins and self-services. Now we are an RPAs where all bots. Today you want to interact with any of your customer, they say contact us. You have a bot in every software, I mean every banking sector or any online services. If you are on the web page, there is a bot which interacts as good as a human being. Okay, so these are all RPAs. Previously these were all handled by call centers and KPAs and BPOs. They are all being slashed, the jobs, because it's repetitive, it's process oriented, it can be automated. Later on, context building, AI using, I was talking to you about IBM Watson, right? IBM Watson is an AI engine. So using that, we are going to talk like or behave like human beings. The RPAs are going to behave that way. So why so in a software? Because it can work 24 hours a day without any break or vacation. So your softwares are going to be done, or testing is going to be fast if the process is properly defined. Repetitive and manual work is also eliminated. You don't have to do. They have a very efficient way of handling it. Reduced cost, obviously. Enables non-invasive integration, because multiple line of business can have the same application just by variation in toggle switches. They work the same depending on workload. So these are few of the things. Skills. What is more important to us? Understand. Look at the first 4 or 5 skill sets. These are the areas where you need to upskill yourself if you want to stay relevant. Okay, Internet of Things, if you think it is only for people who are in the electronics and software or what do you call information technology, sorry. It is mechanical engineers, mechatronic engineers, and electrical engineers who are going to enable the system. Internet of Things is just not sensors, but it's a system. It's a system integration. So we are going to be a huge players in the Internet of Things. Understand what are those skill sets in Internet of Things for mechanical engineers and mechatronics engineers. Try to focus on them. You see the amount of skill. The gray scale is to say the skills that are available. There is a huge business opportunity or investment today, but skills available are far fewer. Artificial intelligence, this is for select few who have an interest in seeing how you can automate and bring in some sort of intelligence into your machines. Robotics, a subset of artificial intelligence, and 3D printing. You see, a lot of us are talking about 3D printing, but the business models and what you can do with it is phenomenal. And integrating it with the digital world is a challenge. Okay, so try and see how you could create business models, how you could bring in digital integration of 3D printing systems. And the skill sets required for 3D printing systems are also low. The amount of people who can work on 3D printer systems are far few. Okay, augmented reality, maybe it's out of scope for us, we'll just skip that. So if you see 8 technologies driving disruptions, okay, the next 5 years, technologies, the disruptive technologies will be in these areas, the same sequence. And you see the business models that are evolving as well. Internet of Things, yes, a lot of people are starting to make business out of it. In artificial intelligence, it's yet to make. Robotics, yes, some are already there, because in robotics, it's all traditional players who are making that huge change. New entrants are yet to. 3D printing services as well. Okay. So these are the 4 waves, digital waves, that we are going to be taken over. Okay. Internet, mobile, Internet of Things, and AI and robotics. So we are in the transition between the third wave and fourth wave. The timelines are shifted for what various reasons, but yes, AI and robotics is making relevance today, and it will stay to be making more importance. So this is a quick understanding of classification of automation and robotics. Okay, so in automation, these are the you have process or material handling. When it's process, you have inspection, packaging, bots. These are bots which are process driven. Okay, and virtual reality. And whereas in material handling, you have conveyors or AGV, automated guided vehicles. Robotics, they are fixed or movable. Fixed, very popular ones are like the SCARA, which is a KUKA robots, okay, which are used in automotive industry in excessive, and these are making way into entertainment business as well. Movable robots like AGVs, humanoid, and UAVs, and even your drones are also come under the same category. So you see that robotics is a subset of an automation. So these are the jobs that are already being hit, the 10 professions which are under X due to big data. Incidentally, you can see journalists, architects, teachers, human resources, marketing, advertising, lawyers. Okay, so these all people will have to repurpose themselves or upskill themselves to work along with data or digital technologies, else they cannot stay relevant. So that is what I had planned for you this day. If you have any questions, and this is my contact details, if you want to reach me out for whatever questions or any discussion, I'm available. The floor is open to you to ask me questions, clarify. Sir?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, students, think you heard of the present and also the future, how it's going to be. So with this, uh, any questions? Anything that you like to know from the speaker? Any questions?
You could write to me or even ask, call on me whenever you want. I'm open. Okay. So for us, it's important that people start making use of technology, be relevant to the industry, because staying relevant to industry is important. Okay, that's what we see. There's a huge lack for the industry. So I think, sir, there are not much of a question. Either I'm too clear or it was too much of abstractness in it. uh,
Yeah, if there are no questions,
So,
maybe we are in between the food.
right.
Maybe. Okay, right. So thank you very much, sir, for your
Thank
talk. I think, dear students, okay, I think now we need to understand the talk that sir has given now. We can able to understand what is the skilling required, okay, as a students. Okay, otherwise, as an individual, will not going to be relevant in the presence of these robots and all. Okay, in the near future. Okay, so the requirement, the whole of the essence of the talk is to upskill yourself to be relevant in the and sir has given a wide talk, okay, wide examples and about the evolution, started with evolution, and he has touched upon how the relevancy of this industry 4.0 and connected to the RPA at the end. A very good talk. So I like to thank Professor Shri Swami for his and also I like to thank Professor Praveen Kumar TN, okay, who is instrumental in connecting to the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Sir, okay, you are there. Thank you for all your effort in this particular program. Okay, so with this, once again, thank you, sir, for your and also for your patience. I would like to
thank
take
you.
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with this,
Good
end the
day.
program.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Bye, sir. Bye, sir. Students, sir, bye. Okay, students, bye. You can leave.